Good morning, good afternoon, wherever time you're listening to this at. I hope you're having a wonderful day. My name is Connor Moore, and I will be your host, I guess if that's what you want to call it, for this podcast. And I will be covering the topic of uses and gratification theory inside the grand scheme of theory of communications. I'll be talking about what it is, different ideas of it, and give you guys a basic rundown. Now, there are two different ideas that come with uses and gratification theory. The one is from Gramsci and Hall, and that is that the media is really meant to control the population, whether they want to or not. It's not really like a willing victim, and you'll be exposed to it no matter what you want to do. Whether you want to view it or not, ultimately, you have no control over it. Whereas the other idea was from Katz, Blumler, and Gurevich, which is that the media should be used for personal reasons and ultimately give more power to the people who are viewing it, which I really do think is the right idea behind it, because ultimately you can choose to intake what you want from the media. Like, you can pick and choose what you want to view and what you don't want to view. You can hide things that you don't want to see or hear, and ultimately you are in control. And ultimately they do give you more power because you're getting more information that you choose from. Now, I think it's a good idea to get information from both sides, if that's the case, and formulate your own opinion and not let other people influence you. But, there's always going to be that one certain person or type of person that's only going to get their information from one side. And no matter what the other side brings to the table, whether it's a counter argument or facts or anything like that, they will not believe it, because that's not what they were being fed by their outlet choice of media or news or anything like that. So I really like to view it from that point of view, where people can pick and choose what they want to see and use it really more for empowerment than it is for control. So I really define using gratification theory as a theory as to why people seek out information by media to satisfy their wants or needs. And all these different wants or needs can fall under different categories. I mean, the information that you're receiving spans across all different types of media. For example, you have TV, you have news outlets, video games, and even music. I mean, music has been a huge tool used by different bands and people to speak out and give their point of view on what's taking place in the world or their ideas. And you look at music in the 60s, it was huge against for the hippie era. People used that as their platform and how to reach other people. Now, the BBC actually has an explanation of 4 major ways that the media satisfies our needs, which I actually found to be pretty interesting. And they are as follows: surveillance, personal identity, relationships, and diversion. And usually one thing I've noticed about surveillance is, even when you're not looking for information, you can even come across information. Like, I know, for example, on Monday after the Vegas shooting occurred, I had no idea until I opened up Instagram. I wasn't really looking for information. Now, surveillance will be defined as when someone is going to look for information. They're actually actively searching for information to find out what's going on in the world around them. And that can range from searching for news articles about current events, upcoming products, or just plain entertainment reasons like movie reviews or anything like that. And this is generally the most common sort of media exposure because of how many different formats there are. I mean, you think about on your phone, on your computer, everything that's always basically right in front of our faces. It makes it easier for you to find information. I wasn't really looking for information, it just popped up and there it was right in front of my face. So naturally, like I said, I went and looked for more information because an Instagram post is only going to give you so much. But I just noticed that even with social media, even if you don't follow those media accounts, whether it's CNN or Fox or wherever you get your news from, information will usually always find a way to you. You don't really have to necessarily go looking for it. That is surveillance. The next idea behind how media satisfies our needs would be personal identity. And the main idea behind personal identity is that the media outlets have an influence on who you are as a person. They can influence your beliefs, your values, and ultimately how you see yourself as a person. And I think that this really can affect people of all ages. I think it's more common to affect younger kids, though, because, they're exposed to so much. They're constantly looking for information or new trends or anything like that. So they're constantly exposed to different people and different ideas. So I feel like media exposure is going to influence them more. And, it's could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, depending on who they're following, who they see as role models. And I actually came across a YouTube video that I found while doing my research that actually shows a pretty good representation of how media and other people or ideas influence you as a person. And I'll actually include that in the link below of the YouTube video so you guys can see it and give me your thoughts on it. But it's just like a young man standing there and he taps his chest and his image changes, and I think that's just like a good metaphor for people changing based on what they're receiving from other people that they follow or get ideas from. But like I said, I'll put that link in the description of this YouTube video, and you guys can tell me what you think. And I'm not saying that being influenced by other people is a bad thing, because there are plenty of positive role models that you can follow and emulate your beliefs to match theirs, or if you hold the same values as theirs, then it's easier to relate to them. But I don't think following somebody word for word just because they're popular or that is the right thing to do, because they could be wrong. The next category that the BBC has would be personal relationships. And, this can be personal relationships with real people or even fictional characters. And I really think this is a pretty important part, because, to me, great TV shows make you feel like you can relate to the characters and make you actually feel for the characters. I can't really give too many personal examples for this, but the one I can give is from the TV show The Office. And I don't really watch too much TV, but that is one show I watched and I thought it was great. And I always, felt like a personal relationship to the characters. Like, I know they're not real, but, building that personal relationship through that media source is always interesting. I think it gives the show more of an impact that you feel like you can relate to it. And you can build these personal relationships through, like I said, fictional characters or real characters from reality TV shows, or writers from your favorite magazine that you could feel like you personally know them. And really, in the age of social media, you can really reach them and get a hold of them via Twitter or Instagram. I mean, they may not always respond, but they can sometimes see your messages. And if they do, and they do respond, then that's pretty cool, if you ask me. And I'm kind of running out of time here for the limit, but the last category described by the BBC would be diversion. And diversion is basically using media to get away from ordinary life. Now, this can be through reading news articles, even though I don't really think that would be much help to get away from ordinary life. But, reading news articles, playing video games, listening to music, or to me, the biggest one being social media. I know, for example, for me, when I get on lunch break, when I get off of work, the first thing I do is usually look at social media just to see something that I value or something that entertains me, instead of just working on construction documents all day. But, to me, that's the biggest form of diversion, especially in today's age where everybody is usually on social media. And if they may not be on all of them, but they may be on one format. I think it just really gives people an outlet to escape for a little bit. Life's always going to be stressful, but there's always good in it. But having a platform that you can use to kind of just unplug for a little bit, whether it's 10 minutes or, a couple hours if you're playing video games, if you're into that, I think it's good mainly for mental health. I think there's more benefits than there are negatives, because people need that break. Anyway, I'm at my time limit now. I hope you guys found this podcast insightful. Hope you've gotten good information from it. And like I said, I put the link to that YouTube video in the description below this YouTube video. But thank you guys for listening to my very first podcast, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.